The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, Heckma Harrison, and Newey Scruggs.
Welcome to the Taj Mahal of football. We are at the Star in Frisco, home of your Dallas Cowboys, and cameras that way, cameras over this way. I'm in here with the players on the Players Lounge, sponsored by Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the Dallas Cowboys. And fellas, it's Thursday. We count down to our massacre.
Oh, man, the positive heck.
The massacre.
Man, I'm just telling you, it was like last week, I don't know, Halloween.
I told y'all what happened.
I told y'all what happened. Halloween,
I told y'all what happened. It was Philly, man. It was Philly. It was the Philly letdown. Okay. I needed that game.
But it wasn't a letdown.
It was a letdown. We didn't get the dub.
No, but they played okay.
I wasn't with that moral victory talk, D-Mac. I wasn't with that. We didn't get it done. Okay. We needed that victory in Philly. They exposed some things. They exposed some things. And so I was like, look, man, we talking about New York, a division game. If everybody else saw what I saw, man, we might be in a little bit of trouble. Now,
you was on the island by yourself.
And you know what? Thank y'all.
The goggles on.
No, thank you.
Had them goggles on.
I did have the goggles on.
The filter was on.
I woke up like, hey, what have I gotten myself into? It was one of them. Look, it was one of them kind of days, and I was sitting there watching the game. I'm like, man, what the hell was I talking? I spent all week on this.
Man,
and these boys
about DeVito. DeVito will be out. He's athletic.
And then, hold on, to make things even worse, when I got the text, man, tell Heck he can talk.
Hey, the chat was dry. We don't know. Where's Heck at, man? What's going on?
Go, Heck, you can talk now. Go, man. Look like we got this one in the bag. But, man, look, we ran off. We ran off on that game versus the Giants. But now we have the Carolina Panthers. And before I get into any of this where we do anything, man, that I'm hosting, I'm going to ask, how are you brothers doing, man? How your Thursday going?
My Thursday going good, man. It's a really good game coming up tonight. Like, this is probably the first time I've been excited for Thursday. Usually I'm like, man, I'm not watching that. Like, I'm excited to watch the game tonight. Now, I got a little congestion going on, with the weather change and all that. But we're going to fight through it. Get some emergency.
What'd you say?
Some orange juice.
Some of that
castor oil.
Get some castor oil.
I ain't drinking that.
Yeah, call my great-great-grandma and tell her that old bottle that she got, you know what I'm saying? So make sure
never expired.
Knock it right out.
Yeah, I'm going to be all right, though. I'm going to be all right. It's a big time night tonight, so I'm excited.
BC, what's
Same
up?
here, man. It's going to be a good football night. Hopefully. I don't want to see a blowout, but that Baltimore Ravens versus the Bengals should be pretty good. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. So be something good to watch on TV tonight. And, I'm doing good, though. Heck, how about yourself?
Man, I'm good, man. It's, I'm all about the fam, man. It's, we go from one thing to another. Football season ended, basketball season is on us. So I got a basketball game today.
Wait, some football done?
Football's done. Yeah, they got 56-42 was that football game. Man, nobody played defense.
Okay.
Did he go off at least? He
No.
Okay.
It was, but hey, sophomore year in the book. So now we just looking forward to next year.
There it is.
But now it's basketball season, so we all about the hooping. I can't help him with none of that.
You ain't got nothing for him.
I ain't got nothing for him.
He's gonna get the rebound, give it to
Hey,
him.
that's it. That's all I'm good for. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good trainer. You know what I'm saying? I point and direct really well.
Be out there looking like Denzel on He Got Game.
No. That does
Say
not.
you want to have that.
I'm gonna get mine. Don't you worry. Hey man, when y'all see me with my fro, don't say nothing.
I'm gonna say a lot.
Hold it down. Hold it down,
We're
man.
gonna watch the whole process of it grow out. Cause you show up one day with a fro and it just happened.
I don't understand why y'all like this with me about my Istanbul trip that I'm taking to get my hair
Slide over there.
He'll come back next week with an afro.
Come back here with 360 waves. Hey, man, hold on, man.
Like, look here, I'm gonna snatch that cap off that way. I'm gonna have that silk joint on.
If that's when you coming down with a do-rag, with the tail off.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. But look, let's get into it. Let's get into it because, man, we got a lot of stuff going on this week. All week has been talk about Josh Allen and why doesn't Josh Allen get the same scrutiny that Dak gets? And obviously the answer is Dak plays for the Dallas Cowboys, and you're already the star. You're going to have to deal with that. But another guy that has started off the season getting a ton of criticism was Mazi Smith. Mazi guy didn't even get through training camp before the words were being uttered about him as a first round, I'm not B word, okay, bust. Yeah. But then he has somehow over the last couple of games, if you're following 58, man, he's starting to play a little bit better. I just want to know from you guys. I mean, I know y'all do a lot of evaluating of talent. How are you starting to feel about 58, and is he starting to play up to what you think is a first round?
2 games was Philly. Two games ago was Philly?
Philly, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
all right. You can go. I don't know. I just want to make sure we're on the same.
We are.
Because what I saw.
But I will give him this. It seems that he's gotten a little bit better. Through these past couple weeks, he's not just, gotten just declined and just been a, Taco Charlton case out there.
Jeez.
I feel as though he's getting better, and maybe that's because, Hankins is beside him. Those guys, Diggy Zoo, are starting to rub off on him a little bit. He still hasn't gotten to that point where we're used to from these first-round draft picks. When you talk about a Tyron Smith, a Tyler Smith, you talk about a Parsons, you talk about a Zach Martin, Frederick, all those guys, they performed extremely well in their rookie season. So I think that's where a lot of the comparison comes from. When you're comparing guys like that to where he's at right now, you're like, man, it's night and day. Like, those guys were day one starters, day one contributors, and they were solid when they first stepped in the door. Not so much with Mazi Smith, but everybody's different. So he's starting to build upon it a little bit. Against New York, I think it was his best game. They were a terrible outfit. I will say that. They were a terrible outfit, but he was able to go out there and he showed some things. He wasn't getting moved out of the way and made a couple tackles out there. I don't think he'll ever be that kind of Aaron Donald defensive tackle that's going after the quarterback. But if he can just be that guy where he's a space eater, where he's just taking up 2 blocks at a time, taking up these run lanes and letting those linebackers run free, that'll be perfect with me. So he's getting a little bit better, but we'll see by the end of the season, where he matches up against the other first-round draft choices.
Come on, Danny, what is it?
Listen, I got to be fair in here, okay? Because what I said last week was no matter what happens against New York, like, we know what's going on out there in New York. And I remember what I saw against Philly. And this is not just Mazi Smith. I think there's been many instances where you see the D linemen not being able to hold point on double teams and letting those offensive linemen kind of get off and get up on the linebackers, and then the linebackers then not being able to play freely as we usually see, or what we would hope to see from a guy like Damone Clark, because if you give him that ability, I think he can be a really, really great linebacker. Oh, yeah. So it's not just Mazi, but New York, okay, play better, and we do say that, hey, man, when you play against a team like that, that is an opportunity for you to work on whatever weakness that you may have, right? So if it's hand placement, if it's get off and drive, is it whatever it is, being able to read the hands of the feet, whatever that is, I think he did take that opportunity to get better at his craft. So I will give him that. I do need to see him against Washington. I think that'll be a good one. Yeah. And then once you get against Seattle and then Philly, if you turn what you did against New York into continued success, or not even, he don't have to dominate. Just see that, hey, whatever you did in New York is sticking a little bit, right? All right, hey, was your hand placement better? Don't revert back to what it was. Yeah. Once you play against a squad who has a little bit more talent, then I think we'll start to see that, like, okay, I'm feeling like Mazi Smith is getting there first round, showing that, all right, this was a good decision. But as of right now, okay, I'm just going to say I want to see him continue to do better against better competition. But, yeah, he played well against New York.
So going to PFF, anytime you want to make a point, you go to PFF.
That's the Bible.
All right, that's the Bible. 25 snaps. In those 25 snaps, he was recorded 16 pressures, and they call pressures anywhere around.
Everything.
Everything's
right? A pressure.
Everything is. What?
Come on, man.
I'm giving the numbers just around the quarterback.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
But they gave him an 83. Was his grade. So, I mean, that's pretty
against
good.
New York?
Against New York.
Yes,
against New York.
But, I mean, you got to get 16 pressures to get 83?
Yeah.
Man.
I thought that was a lot. If you told me he had 16 pressures, I'm thinking he's at the quarterback's toes.
Yeah.
Like, he's just right
they
there.
Calling his name every time. Mazi Smith again.
And I got that wrong. These are just pass rush snaps. Okay,
Oh,
no pass
16
rush
pass rush snaps.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
my bad.
I was about to say, hold on.
I said
Well, did I
pressure.
miss
I
something?
had that wrong. That man went off. They ain't gonna put him in.
I'm gonna say he only played 25.
Yeah,
16 brother.
no.
Hey, right now.
So that's what
Aaron Donald.
that's how he got the 83. But I think just seeing him from his rookie from just this season and developing through the preseason, because it was rough.
That Seattle game was.
It was rough. All right, he had some rough snaps. He gets a chance to redeem himself here in a couple of weeks versus Seattle too. But our defensive line, and I know from him and Hankins, we've been watching our linebackers kind of have their struggles because we haven't been as solid or a space eater in the middle to be able to gobble up those blocks the way that we need those guys to in Dan Quinn's system. But now with LVE out.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
And we talked about LVE and him being hurt, but now guys like Damone Clark, you have to expect for these guys to set precedents to be a lot better. Is your faith in just what you've seen so far after 9 games in our linebacker core one where you feel confident going through the rest of the season without one of your best linebackers?
Yeah, listen, I feel okay. I think if our defensive line continues to get better, and like I said, they're able to hold point on those double teams and keep those offensive linemen off our linebackers and allow them to be able to have the time to read and react, I think they're fine. Like I said, Damone Clark is still a young guy. Like we put a lot of expectation on him because what we saw him do in college and then the preseason that he had. He's still a young guy. He's still figuring it out, trying to learn. And then you got Marquise Bell coming down, right? Young guy, right? In a new position, still trying to learn to read and react to pulling guards, counters, traps. Like where should I be at when my gap disappears? They're still learning, right? And I think throughout the season, they have gotten better. Like San Francisco was different. It's a lot of playing with your eyes. Like, hey, I don't know where to go. But you see, since then, I think that they've continued to get better. Even when we had those questions about Marquise Bell, like, would he be able to withstand it if he had to do that for the entirety of a game? And I think that he showed that he could. So I'm confident that if our D-line continues to get better, that will allow our then second level the ability to play well play good as well. But then also you got to like Micah Parsons, like where you gonna play it? Is he going to be able to like really sit back there and play at the second level if that's where they need him at, or is it gonna be him knocking on the coach door like, hey, I need to be down there. I need to be getting sacks. That's why I make the difference at.
Yeah,
So I think you gotta see how it plays out.
Yeah, and we talk about LVE. That was terrible news. What happened to him? Hopefully a speedy recovery. All that good stuff. But when you look at it, I feel like my confidence level. I'm not gonna say it's higher, but it's not lower than when he was in there, because when LVE was in there, he was having a good season, but let's not mistake him for Ray Lewis out there. He had his struggles as well. And when you look at this linebacker core, I feel like you said, Damone Clark, I think he's going to be a stud going forward, and I hope that they kind of keep LVE in the fold as far as being that kind of coach mentor to these young linebackers. So when they're out there, he can say, oh, I seen this. Maybe you should keep your eyes on that. Just an extra pair of eyes to help that core going along. But I talked about this a little bit last week. I like what Quinn did by putting Rashaan Evans in that linebacker spot for like first and second downs, because then those are those more rundowns like we know. And then he switches out with Bell. On those third downs, they kind of go dime package and kind of bring Bell in to be that, pass cover guy. And I like that wrinkle because you got a bigger body in there in Rashaan Evans, who's a downhill kind of a thumper linebacker. I think he went to Alabama, and that was his motto. It was about, I'm coming downhill, I'm going to hit you. He's not the best cover guy, but first and second down, when you need to stop the run on early downs, he's a guy that can contribute and do big things in there. So I'm interested to see what that linebacker core is going to look like going forward, but I love that wrinkle, and then it'll take a lot of pressure off of Bell to be that every down linebacker. Now he can kind of sit back there and be that hybrid guy that covers tight ends, covers running backs coming out of the backfield, and I think that's his best strong suit.
So how do you think they play it when it's a team that like majors in 11? Right,
Yeah.
They major in 11 personnel, and maybe they want to get you trapped out there with an Evans, because you're thinking on first and second down, right?
Majors in 11,
they want to get you trapped out there like that. So how did Dan Quinn has his work cut out for him when you try to figure out like, okay, like when is the right time?
Because if you leave him out there, right? Those offenses are they sticking in this. We're gonna keep going. Right. So that's the conundrum right there.
And y'all talk about it, especially with players like Bell, players like Mozzie Smith, when you know that these guys, when you come up against the upper echelon in the league, you're going to have to see more. You're going to have the demand is going to be there as well. But I think Marquise Bell is the one guy that has been the biggest surprise for all of us. Yeah. But y'all have talked about it at length, like he's undersized, and sooner or later it's going to be we've got a mouse in the house, and they're going to expose that. And you started to see it last week, and just to echo what you were saying, that Dan Quinn is like, all right, before y'all even catch me in this, I'm going to start making the adjustment before we get there. But you have some teams coming down the road, and I'm not looking past Carolina, but I'm just saying when you get further into the season, when you start talking about the Seattles, when you start talking about the Eagles,
if you Washington will run that thing too, that's
exactly
Detroit.
Both of them going on. Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't expose your hand in that way if you're basically saying Evans isn't our best guy. He's our best guy against run, but he's not our best guy against pass. And teams are going to start to expose that. But man, we are getting to the point in the season where a lot of teams are facing must-win situations.
You ain't lying.
And it's crazy to even think about this, but teams like, if you look at let's say for instance the Buffalo Bills. All right, the Buffalo Bills coming into this season were looked at as the tops in their division to win their division, and right now they are up against the ropes. I mean, peep this, man.
The AFC is tough.
Yeah, it's loaded.
And it's tough. You might win 10 games over there, man.
Be the number one seed out there.
People it's like what, like
to 10.
They have some really good teams, some really good quarterbacks over there. And it's fun to watch, but it's nerve wracking, especially because I like Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, but them also, right? Like in a tough spot. Like for them, thank goodness Deshaun Watson will be out for the season, because before that you like, oh wait, Cleveland and Baltimore, those might be the two at the top fighting to be the winner of that division, but now you have to assume that Cleveland will look a lot different offensively. And that's going to help out Cincinnati, but I mean, they bunched up there.
It's Cincinnati. Then basically, if they lose, they have a 27% chance of making it to the playoffs.
It's because of all those early losses in their own division.
In the AFC. Yeah. For Buffalo, if off a loss, they lose 13% chance of making it to the play. I mean, who would have coming into the season? Who would have thought that right now, even and Pittsburgh is 63. I have no idea. I don't know. Have absolutely no idea. But they have the Cleveland Browns, which is a divisional game. It's going to be tough for them. But
didn't they do that 2 years ago? 2 years ago, they was just skating through, and everybody's like, I don't know how they doing that. Like they was the worst 10-win team in the league.
Yeah. It's crazy. And even Tampa Bay, they have San Francisco. All right. 32% chance of making it to the playoffs off of it if they lose. So, I mean, you put all of that together. This is a big week for a lot of teams. And it's coming down to this. I think. Wouldn't you think that this is kind of early?
It seems early.
Doesn't it?
It seems early, but when you have teams playing as well as they are, especially surprise teams. When you got a surprise team like the Houston Texans, where you had already kind of put them at the bottom and plugged another team in. Now that team that thought they were Tennessee and Indianapolis are like, hold on, wait, that's our spot. That's our spot, right? And then even Denver. Like, you count Denver out, and then all of a sudden you say, hold on, they rolling a little bit.
They're second right
like,
now.
The team that thought they was going to have their spot, they're like, hold on, wait, Denver's winning?
Chargers right now, like, man, what the?
I thought I had that spot. What's going on, right? So, like, I enjoy the competition in the league when it's like that, right? Where there's not a runaway. Well, I mean, Philly right now is running away with ours, but there's still an opportunity for a lot of other teams to catch up. So, I think the NFL is more enjoyable this way.
It is. When you have so much disparity around the league, and it's not like you just said, it's not like a clear cut. Even Kansas City, they're number one right now, but they don't look unbeatable. I mean, if you go out there and look, Denver just put it on them a couple weeks back. Right. So I love when the league is like this, where every single game matters. It's kind of like college. Yeah. College football, you go in there, hey, if you take this L, your chances of going to the college playoff are very slim. So that just makes it more interesting. And each and every week, you're like, man, I got to tune in.
Now, that's that parity. They talk about the parity each and every week. There are no throwaway games, and they're coming down to the point where each game is important. Talk about Buffalo. They play the New York Jets. And, I mean, pivotal game right now for both of these teams. The New York Jets coming into the season, you were talking Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised they're still in it though,
Yeah.
even with him being out.
And that speaks to like how good their defense is, and then also the weapons that they still do have on Breece Hall and Wilson, Garrett Wilson, like. They have real weapons, and what you saw last year with them being Offensive Rookie of the Year, all that stuff, like that stuff was real. And I still can imagine them in the AFC with Aaron Rodgers. How much more competitive that already competitive conference would be?
Man, this is crazy. But we're gonna take our first break, and when we come back, we're gonna play a game called "Would You Rather" with one CeeDee Lamb. We're gonna put a team together and see what these guys think. Coming up next on the Players Lounge.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. #Be your own boss.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together, we cry together, and we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to the Players Lounge.
I'm so jealous of this guy. Sean Polite is your 2023 Cowboys Fan of the Year, and now he needs your help. Vote for Sean to be given the ultimate title of the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by casting your vote at NFL.com/fan of the year. Back in action here at the Taj Mahal of football. I'm Heckman Harrison. He's Danny McCray, and that's Barry Church. Newey Scruggs is in the principal's office right now.
Yeah, they called him up.
He's in the principal's office. And we'll be back down soon. But guys, I said we're gonna play a game called Would You Rather, and I do this all the time. Like when we have a matchup, I always look at would I rather have their guys or would I rather have my guys? Are their guys better than my? Just position by this little game I play. Would you rather? So if you look at our emerging number 1 wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who has taken the reins and has kind of put himself on the map as of late. He has 4 150-yard
ridiculous
games so far. That's top tier.
He going crazy.
He is going crazy right now. I think at the beginning of the first 2 games of the season, Danny McCray said, boy, it's a lot of people not going to get that incentive bonuses.
Hey, let me tell you something. Man, if that offense was still working the same way it was working then, they had to switch it up, man. It's crazy what happens when you throw good guys the ball.
That is true.
When you throw your weapons the ball, right, and get them an opportunity to make those big-time plays like you did at training camp, it's crazy what'll happen.
Or is it crazy what'll happen when you makes the right complaints? That's what it is.
Give me the ball.
We're going to all go to the principal's office. Everybody in trouble. Everybody go to the principal's office now. But I was, in talking about CeeDee Lamb right now, 975 yards. And I think that's happened, over the last four weeks, man. He's just basically exploded. But when you look at CeeDee Lamb and you look around the league, is there any other wide receiver that you would say I would rather?
Right now. Take it. If you're starting a franchise.
If I'm starting a franchise, come on now, I'm putting it out there.
It's tough. Not many. Okay.
No.
The speed that Tyreek Hill has is unmatched. He is the ultimate game changer. Going for 2,000 yards on the season. I wouldn't rather have him, but if you gave me an opportunity to pick, I'm probably going to pick Tyreek Hill.
Let me put it in context for you. Tyreek Hill has 1,076 yards so far. And CeeDee Lamb has 975, so only 100 yards.
Yeah, but I'm watching the game. I know when you scheme it against a guy like Tyreek Hill, how many resources you have to put to him, and that's just based on his speed because he's just faster than everybody else. It's stuff you can't coach.
It ain't like he's shaking everybody. It's just,
you can't coach it. So I'm not saying I would rather have him on our squad over CeeDee Lamb right now. I'm saying if I'm like I said, if we're starting at zero, right? And I'm in my fantasy draft or whatever it is, Tyreek Hill's probably that guy, and that's just because of the speed. But CeeDee Lamb is behind no one when it comes to are you just a number one bona fide receiver? I'm not. I want him on our team. I want him on our team. I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't, where he's at right now, he's balling. That connection he has with Dak. When you talk about the Cowboys, I think that he's the perfect receiver for Dak right now. They got that rapport going on, and it's pretty much unmatched. But when we're talking about just, like you said, we just creating a random squad.
Yes.
This is not saying we rather trade CeeDee Lamb out for nobody. This is just, a random squad. We talk about that in that regard. You talk about receivers, who would you pick up? You got to go Tyreek Hill first. I mean, like you said, that speed is it's remarkable. You double team him, you have a safety plan 20 yards on top of him, and somehow he throw the football and it's over everybody's head, but Tyreek is right there in the breadbasket. So you just can't coach speed. You can't coach speed, and it's hard to defend speed. So I got to go Tyreek Hill on that one. And then,
it's some injuries out there, okay? So Justin Jefferson is not healthy.
So we're saying, okay. So we're saying injury,
we're talking about right now in the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right now in the season. Even if, I don't know, man, that's tough. Man, because I like the guy out of Cincinnati. I like Chase, man.
Like
him and CeeDee are kind of like the same type of player as far as yards after catch, aggressive, kind of running backs when they have it.
821 for Jamar Chase.
See, it's tough. And Jamar Chase is, he's sharing the ball a lot more than CeeDee sharing the ball. So it's tough, but I'm going to have to go CeeDee as being my number 2 option behind Tyreek Hill. I mean, what he's been doing these past 4 weeks, it's remarkable. We see the double teams. He's still able to beat him out there. So CeeDee, to me, is probably the number 2 wide receiver in the league right now. And he's close. It ain't like it's, Tyreek Hill and then a long shot. It's like 1A and then kind of 1B situation right now as far as CeeDee Lamb is going. But I will say this. He did it against Philly, who has a terrible secondary. But I want to see him do it against, a San Fran. Because when we saw that game, it was
we was in that old offense.
We was in that old offense. Okay, I'll give you that.
The wide receivers that you mentioned, you just nitpicking, right?
That's what it is. That's who you like.
And then you got to throw Detroit St. Brown in there. It's some.
Y'all still haven't said the name.
What you mean?
What the name you talking about?
AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's true.
I just I like AJ. I like AJ Brown. So I'm not. But if I got the option, I'm still picking CeeDee. Because what I've seen is if you give CeeDee the same opportunities that you give AJ Brown, CeeDee's going to do what AJ Brown is doing. All right, he run after catch. He is phenomenal, making one-handed grabs. I seen AJ Brown do that. CeeDee Lamb was like, "Oh, hold my beer. I can do the same thing." Right. So I'm still okay with picking CeeDee over AJ Brown. But there's a list of 6 or 7 guys where it's any one of them guys.
They can get it, exactly.
Any one of them guys, I'm okay with that. And shout out to, like I said, the guy in Detroit, St. Brown, playing well. Mike Evans still playing really good football over there with Baker Mayfield as his quarterback.
Speaking of older receivers, Keenan Allen. They both.
So let me break it down for you.
Some guys, bro.
At number 10 right now is Mike Evans. Number 9 is DJ Moore. Tied at 7 is Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 6, Puka Nacua. Number 5 is Stephon Diggs. 4, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, he's doing his work.
He's doing his work.
He old too. He's doing work.
And 3 is CeeDee Lamb, and number 2 is A.J. Brown, and number 1 is Tyreek Hill. And so, I mean, these wide receivers, the list of, I mean, how do you pick between those guys? I mean, any of those guys can go off in a single day and rise up to the top 5 right now.
Wait, where's JJ at? With all the games he missed. I'm sure he's still above some guys.
If he's still top 50.
Because he was on the tear. He was on the tear, bro. That's without JJ on the list.
Yeah, not even.
So, what's crazy to me, though, is you said DJ Moore was at 9?
Yes.
How was he getting yards? You had the quarterback
793.
793 with Fields and what's his name, Baguette, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
his last game. I think one of the last games he had some was it close to 200?
He might have.
Like he went off one game where it was.
How you doing that with those quarterbacks?
Trash.
That's impressive to me, man. That's impressive.
So it's some good guys out there. Yes, I'm keeping CeeDee though. I'm keeping CeeDee.
Yeah, he's proven it.
But when I'm picking from scratch, man, that speed. Because we've been out there before, man. Like it's just so you can coach guys as much as you want to do the correct technique, whatever it is, and it's like you just can't do anything. Like you come back to the sideline after you get beat by Tyreek Hill, and the coach, he like, hey, bro,
what can you do?
I don't know what to tell you.
Who was the guy like when you guys at wide receiver? Like,
Calvin.
He done got us a couple times. I remember one time we in the back of the end zone, 3 of us, me, Sean Lee, and who's 21 back? Oh, Mike Jenkins. Mm-hmm. Thanksgiving Day, man, we got this man triple covered in the back of the end zone. Matt Stafford still just tosses it up. And I got a fan sent me there, and I'm like, man,
he had tapped you?
No, every single one. There's a picture. No, the man.
No.
They called him Optimus Prime, Megatron, whatever, for a reason. This dude went up and skied up. I'm holding on to him, trying to bring him down to the ground. Like, he took off with me on his back, like, come on. I got him in the headlock like Baby Boy or something.
You ain't get him like Draymond.
He dragged me up. Like, it ain't like, he dragged me vertical. Like, I'm like, hold on. This is 215 on your back now. Yeah. Sean Lee grabbing one of his legs. Mike Jenkins grabbing his jersey. Man, the dude still went up there.
Oh, my God.
No, this dude was, that dude was unbelievable. So, yeah, he was that guy.
Do you know, the dude who had the speed like that, though, was Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson, punt return, receipt, whatever. He caught that hitch on Mike Jenkins and took it 95. And we all sitting there like we running in place. I was like, that's what speed looked like.
Yeah,
that's what speed looked like.
That was ugly. Victor Cruz had him, he had him what, 2 years where he was like that guy too.
Well, there's nothing you could do about it.
He was doing a lot of salsa dancing in the end zone, boy. That was ugly.
And
I hated that.
And that's what to me makes Tyreek Hill so impressive because those guys had runs like Victor Cruz had 2-3 years here. Deshaun Jackson had a couple of years. This dude Tyreek Hill been doing it almost 6-7 years now. I feel like he's just been that guy nonstop.
And
healthy. Like you rarely see this dude injured. So
now his speed is so different, man, and it's one of those things that jumps off at you when you see him play. And I don't know if I've seen him any fast. At Kansas City, he was fast, but at Miami, he just looks just. Like it's a little bit faster, but for me, CeeDee Lamb, man, has. And I didn't like the antics when I saw him standing away from the team on the bench and everything, but I understood where he was coming from. With it, but just look at the way that he's played as of late. Like I was just kind of joking about him flying standby and trying to get on that plane to elite, to be in that elite wide receiver conversation. But I think this is what you've been wanting from him. You've been wanting to see CeeDee Lamb completely come in and dominate games. And it's like, to me, when I think of number 1 wide receivers in the league, I think of a guy, it's 3rd and 5, and they got the box is loaded. And everybody in the concession stands even know who you're going to go to. And there's no mistake about it, you going to number 88. Now, I understand this whole distribute the ball to other guys and get them involved, but when it's cutting time, CeeDee Lamb has shown you I can be that guy, and I definitely can be guaranteed to get that money.
Hey, remember we used to get Calvin Johnson on the goal line. We used to play him like a gunner.
The vice.
They used to put him in the vice. Had D. Ware out there one time, there trying to jam him up.
Did he still catch the ball, though?
Yes. Nah, they ain't throwing
If they still caught the ball, please send that out like this.
Nah, he ain't catching it.
But real talk, I know, because we were talking about CeeDee Lamb. That over-under, that 1,300.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you go. There you go.
Apologize, CeeDee.
We go ahead and lay that one
No, we're not going to apologize because we said that it wasn't his fault.
That's true.
We said, hey, man, it's not his fault if he don't get 1,300. It's the way that we are playing offense with the Dallas Cowboys. And now that they're playing it differently, he look at it like 1,600 yards. Yeah.
Boy, this
Payday is a pay year too, ain't it?
Yeah, and that's the difference, and that's where I give credit to McCarthy over a guy, even though it's my guy, Kellen Moore. That's the difference right there. Like McCarthy understands who he has at number one wide receiver. He understands, and he was like, "Look, y'all, I ain't playing fantasy football. Like this, I'm getting this guy the ball early and often, and in different ways. We're gonna find ways to get him the ball. And like you said, he's passed 4 or 5 games. He's been targeted, 10 to 15 times.
Mike McCarthy said, "I'm leaving here with something."
I know where
I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something.
You can't end the season with the question of, did I lose because I didn't get my best player the football? Like because if you end the year like that, then like the regret there is so huge that you just start questioning everything. All right,
they doing in Buffalo,
right? Yeah, if you're gonna lose the season, hey man, we gave our guy the football, all right, and it didn't work out for us, but. we did the best we could to get the best guy on the field, the football, and we just didn't win. Versus us sitting here asking questions about, man, why they didn't get a ball to CeeDee?
Yeah, that's fine.
Man, we're going to take the last break here on the Players Lounge. When we come back, we're going to show some love to the offensive line, man. We're going to pick a guy that looked like he's on his way possibly to a Pro Bowl. Coming up next here on the Players Lounge.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. #Be your own boss.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Kick off your holiday shopping the right way with all new Cowboy gear. Grab the best gifts for the best fans in the world at your nearest pro shop, or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience. Back here on the Players Lounge, make sure you get out there to the pro shop. I know they got plenty of bread.
Yeah, them pro shop prices be.
Yeah, we may need to talk to Danny.
May cost you a little. May cost you a lot.
It's gonna cost you.
That stocking, man. A little stocking stuff.
Come on, let me.
Man, you know what? You started the season off talking about the offensive line. And offensive line have had their struggles documented, but one Tyler Smith, 73, has shown that, look, man, he is worth it. And definitely in games versus Philadelphia, where we thought he would have some, him and Jalen Carter went at it. And, man, if you watch that film on him and Jalen, that was a battle. And I look forward to seeing these two do what they did for a long time. But he's kind of etching himself out to be like Steady Eddie, a guy that you can show up and say, hey, he's going to get it done for you each and every week. Has your mind changed about the offensive line? I know it's changing a little bit about 77, but I'm saying 73, when you watch him play, are you saying, look, he's one of those guys that's going to be, a foundation guy for us for years to come?
Yeah, listen, even last year watching Tyler Smith, you could see that, one, his versatility is something that you don't usually see in the league, to where a guy can go from being that good at left guard and then also being that good at left tackle. Especially coming out of the draft when people were like penalties were going to be a big deal. He's really strong, but we don't know about his technique. And all he did was come in here and show you that he ain't got many penalties like we thought he was going to have, and his technique and his strength are really top scale right there. So looking at him now, I'm saying I understand why they're not moving him to left tackle, because he is a hell of a player at left guard. So I don't feel any differently about him, because I felt like he was going to be great at his position, whichever one they had him at. I still think he can play left tackle if you really wanted him to, but he's excelling at left guard, so I wouldn't mess up that flow. You know how I feel about it. Hey, if he good there,
keep him there.
Keep him there.
Nah, without a doubt, I'm with you. I think he's probably the best offensive lineman the Cowboys have right now. And you got two bona fide Hall of Famers out there in Zach Martin and in Tyron Smith as well. And I feel like he's, especially through these last couple games, he's been the best, most steady offensive lineman they had. Like, Philadelphia was throwing everything they had at him. Cox, Jalen Carter, the big Jordan Davis kid, and he battled all of them. And to me, when you got a guy like that you could
the way you said that.
Lecture Cox.
The way that
it came out crazy, but y'all understand it came out crazy.
Yeah, no, you all right. Go ahead, keep going.
When you got a guy with position flex like that can dominate on the inside as well as the outside, I mean, it's cut and dry to me. He's your best offensive lineman that you got right now.
No, he is, and that's putting together the year that he's having. I think you needed that. You needed that, especially with an aging offensive line. You know that Zach Martin can't do this forever. He can't. I mean, he at some point it's going to come to an end, and he's not going to be either the player that he has been, and it's going to be a steady decline. Thankfully, we haven't started to see that yet.
That's your second time doing it this week.
I know, man. I've been saying a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's your second time doing that this week.
I said it about health, and then I'm saying so I'm going to cut that out. But at the same time, I just feel as though I've been seeing the best. I seen it last week that our offensive line is starting to look better. Terrence Steele looked better last week.
He did.
Are we gonna keep going? He better. He looked better last week.
He looked better than he did in Philly. Let's say that.
Yeah, it's a whole different echelon of players. He got some weeks ahead of him to where he's gonna need to get better, because he get to see him again, and then we'll get to see. Like I said, that's the great thing about sport. Like, you get to find out if you got better or not, and you get the opportunity to go against the same guys who now on tape. It's on tape, okay? So when they watch it, they gonna say, "Oh yeah, yeah,
circle him up."
That's the guy. That's what JG used to be like. Hey, okay, that guy right there. I think that's what we should be getting home at right there. That's the guy, based off what we see on tape. And Terrence Steele's gonna get a great opportunity to show that he's fixed the deficiencies that he had in the last Philly game. But he has opportunities now to continue to get better, knowing that test is coming.
He's not showing up on the injury report, but you could tell that knee. I don't know, like that ACL, is he still maybe favoring it, or he just hasn't returned to form yet, but he's still battling. But like you said, the tape is out there. Everybody knows that something's up with number 78. Let me ask you guys, Osa Odighizuwa showed up on the injury report with the hamstring. Where are you? Is he a guy that you rest, or do you say, hey man, we all hands on deck?
No, I think it's all hands on deck. I think it is. Like, hamstrings are tricky. Man. They are tricky, and especially when you start getting into the colder months, right? It's a little harder to get that thing loose, right? You try, like, man, how much can I stress? How much icy hot can I put on it, right? So tough. I don't think you sit them out if it's really just tightness in the hamstring. But if you got any type of strain, then you may want to, when you get those soft tissue injuries, you don't want that thing to linger for the next month. if you can go ahead and nip it in the bud right now.
Yeah, I just think it depends on the severity of the injury. Like you said, if it's just like a tweak or something that he can kind of maybe take a practice off and still be 100% for the game, then I say go ahead and let it ride. But if it's anything a little bit worse than that, and I'm sure Britt Brown and Jim Mauer and those guys, one of the top trainers in the National Football League, they'll get him right regardless of what the situation is. But I think going into this Carolina game, they don't need Odighizuwa to go out there to get this dub. So if you can get an extra, week of rest, depending on what the severity is, then I'm all for it. But I know Britt Brown and them guys will have
You feeling that good? Okay. Okay. I thought we was feeling good last week.
Okay. Now we feeling.
Like, hey, we don't need you, big fella.
Yeah,
we'll be all right. We'll be all right without you. Okay, this the B team.
That's that cherry Kool-Aid.
You know what they say? Hey, we can't beat these guys without you. Then we got a problem.
Yeah, that's what it's like, man. I just don't see. Y'all see Carolina? I mean,
no.
I don't see it. I think they're better than New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
With DeVito and the crew.
I think the defense.
I put up almost 50 on it.
Yeah.
Man.
But the problem is, and I'm with you, if you look through the rest of the season, and especially this Thursday game coming up, because he's going to go from playing Sunday to then bouncing to playing on Thursday.
And that's a matchup.
I may say, all right, let me save you for this one because I'm going to need you on Thursday. For you guys, how was that turnaround going from Sunday to then jumping up and playing on Thursday? Well, I mean, physically, I
hated it because during the season, you don't really get right until – what is that, Thursday practice? When you got no shoulder pads, you just helmets on, that's when you start to feel like you still kind of achy. Like, you ain't going out there super fresh. You still kind of achy. And it's to the point in this season now where, they done battled, 8, 9 games, 10 on that game. So they've been battling, getting hit each and every week. So I hate those Thursday games when because your body's just not healed yet. And so you go in there thinking, all right, now I got to go in here and, man, some guys got to take pain pills or whatever the case may be just to make it through that game. And then once you get through that game, your body don't feel right again until that following week because you done did 2 games in 10 days or whatever the case may be. So I hate it, but I understand NFL's a business, and that's how they make their bread.
Yeah, man. Listen, for this week, because is the Carolina Panthers first, and then you get to go into Washington. I don't think it's as bad. Of course, the thing is, everybody has to play one of the Thursday games, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, I get it from that standpoint. I had one of my worst games playing on Thursday. All right, got hurt on Sunday against the Browns, and then missed the entire practice with a week of practice with the RG3-led Washington team, where everything was right. So you get out there and you're like, I was out there like, man, I don't know what the heck to do. I didn't miss the whole damn
practices,
week.
Everything,
right? But I think when you have a team like this where they might have been looking at the coaches right now, they looking at the Washington team trying to get it figured out.
Going ahead with it.
But yeah, just something you got to deal with. Thankfully for the Cowboys, you usually play a home game.
That's true.
On Thanksgiving, right? So you usually have the advantage of not having to travel, not having to do all the extra stuff that the away team has to do. So I think it's an advantage for us.
I would agree.
And I think if you look at it, these are back-to-back Thursday games. Mm-hmm. So you play Thursday night on Thanksgiving, and then you come right back with Seattle, another Thursday night game.
And then 3 games in 17 days or something like that?
Mm-hmm. And then long weekend.
You get that nice break. That's the only thing with Thursday. You get that nice weekend.
Consider that to be like a second bye week.
It has to be.
Absolutely.
Man, we had fun, man.
We're fast, man.
We'll find out what's going on with Brother Newey.
Yeah, man. He's still in the principal's office.
We gotta tap in and see what's going on, my man. Appreciate my man.
No doubt.
I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all for watching the Players Lounge. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:00.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!